Hey, welcome everybody. This is Dr. Richard Tran here from Bellingham, Washington at Color Chiropractic. We're here for our monthly healer interview. Again, these things are always exciting because I get a chance to talk shop or find out more about some of the different people that I work with on some different levels. This month, we're actually collaborating with Mr. John Furda, and he and I have connected both professionally as well as built a great friendship together. He's deeply insightful into the world of what they call structural integration, which you're going to find out more about that. And over the years, we've had the privilege of working with a lot of different types of patients together, yielding some amazing results with people that have had long-standing tension, postural issues, movement challenges. But at the same time, our friendship's really built off of things like the martial arts, which has given us more of an appreciation of how things work with structure, flow, and how the body truly moves. So, John, welcome to the interview.
Hello.
Okay, cool. Well, let's find out more about you here. Tell us a little bit about your healing journey, just how it really led you to this body of work.
So I have been doing Shaolin Kung Fu for a few years, and I had some real shoulder issues that my teacher was pointing out. And to fix those, I kind of went on a journey of healing, I guess. So I tried a lot of different things. And one of the things that really helped me was um, structural integration. And I got a lot of lasting change in my whole body, even my shoulders, which was really great. And I just kind of fell in love with that work.
But let's just talk about structural integration itself. Can you help to explain it to us in terms of just more simple terms?
So the theory that Ida Rolf designed structural integration for was that she noticed people whose structure wasn't optimal, um, had less energy, had more chronic pain, um, and they just didn't feel quite as good as people who had better structure. And so she kind of spent her life figuring out how to align the body
Hmm.
in the field of gravity because we're always in a constant state of gravity and it's always pulling us down. So when we have an injury, we compensate and that throws our structure off. And then for that compensation will last a little while, and then we'll have to compensate again. And one of the things she said was, we don't feel pain until we can't compensate anymore.
Hmm.
And so, and in that idea is that um, the more and more out of alignment we get, the more and more energy we need to put to fixing that problem or to compensate for that problem.
Hmm.
And we eventually run out of compensation and then we're like stuck with severe chronic pain.
Yeah, that speaks to me on so many levels because even in my practice, we talk about the onion analogy and we
Yeah,
talk peeling apart the layers of compensation. But in this case, as you're talking about it, it's not even so much like that as it is we're building up layers and layers and layers of compensation. Eventually, there are only so many layers of that onion that you can add on, to even maintain itself.
correct. And she even talks about it like starting from birth.
Mhm.
It's like maybe something happened when you were born, that throws something off, creates a rotation or something like that. Because when she was born, they were using forceps to pull babies out, and doing all of these different things to like forcefully get a baby out of the womb. And so that created a lot of like dysfunction from birth as well. So she would get clients who had those issues from birth that she would figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different types of healing arts out there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you might say on the one hand, there's something called rolfing that's there. There's also massage therapy. How would you say your body work might be different from theirs, or even, in a sense, integrated with theirs?
Well, so rolfing and structural integration, um, it's all structural integration. Like, so they're just two different schools. Rolfing and Rolfers went to the Rolf Institute and they have a trademark on their name.
Hmm.
That's the same as if you go see someone who does Heller work or Soma, it's all structural integration, just taught from a teacher who changed the original recipe a little bit to fit their
Yeah.
um, thoughts on the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
No.
then,
Yeah.
and then massage therapy, um, it doesn't deal with fascia specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It's more muscle and it doesn't deal with structure either. Their thoughts and their I would say intention isn't to necessarily change structure in a way that will hold. It's more, okay, your shoulders hurt. Let's work on those muscles and get that to feel better.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be good to go into fascia a little bit. I talk about that, but like what's your viewpoint? Because that's a big part of what you're working on.
Yeah. So as far as fascia goes, it's basically the wrappings of everything. Um, it wraps. There's a superficial wetsuit layer called your superficial fascia. It's under your skin, and it's goes from head to toe. And then there's it wraps the muscles, it wraps the muscle fibers, it wraps your bones, it wraps your vein, or not your veins, but your arteries and nerves. So it's really like this fascial web of tissue that goes from your head to your toes.
Hmm.
So one of the ways we think about it is if you have a rotation in your hip, it might create tension and pain up into your shoulder and neck and head. Or same if your foot, if you have some issues in your feet, it can go into your knees, hip, shoulder, head. And it's not always the way we look at it is um, we don't look at the body at, oh, your shoulder hurts, let's work on your shoulder. We look at the body as, oh, your shoulder hurts, what's causing that problem? Where is that? Is it in your hips? Is it in your shoulder? Or is it somewhere else?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's well put. I mean, we think that's why we kind of think alike with some of these things too. And I love how the idea with chiropractic and what you do really ties in really well together. Let's just say, what types of clients do you think this works best with? I mean, is it a person with that acute injury that hasn't developed a lot of compensation? Or is it more of the chronic issue where they built up those layers?
Well, I think both. Um, you know, Unfortunately, nobody's structure is perfect.
Mhm.
Like even if you haven't had any injuries and all of these things, um, nobody's perfect. So, like if you have a recent injury, your body is going to protect that injury, and it's going to cause you to compensate right away. And so, say you have knee surgery. If you work in the hip and in the shoulder and around the injury and not in the injury, you can help balance the body to support the injury while they're healing
Mhm.
instead of letting it, you know, go off even more and like the compensation and the tissue dysfunction through the body.
Yeah.
And then, the person with a lot of like chronic pain, old injuries, um, they need the work or gravity is just going to pull them down eventually.
I've learned to, um, work pretty well with people like yourself or with others over time.
Mhm.
Do you think what you do with structural integration ties in with, let's say, chiropractic care or other types of modalities?
Yeah, I think our work is very complementary. You know, you work with a lot more soft tissue than a lot of chiropractors do,
Right.
and that's great. And I think just because we have different eyes and different intention with the body, like you see the body a little different than I do, so you'll see things that I don't see,
Mhm.
and you'll have a different viewpoint of how to fix that or
Mhm.
how to help it, I guess. Um, and then that's the same with me. Like I'll have a little different viewpoint of how I can get into the body to make it feel better. And like since I work with the fascia and you work with the bones and and like the tissue, it's very complimentary because I'll make your job a little easier and you'll make my job a little easier.
Yeah.
And then chiropractors who don't do much soft tissue work, um, if someone's seeing me and them, um, I will help the chiropractor's work last.
Mhm.
Like if I have a client who has like say a disc off and I can feel it, or I can when they're telling me on the phone what's going on, I'm like, hey, go see the chiropractor and then come see me because they can get it in really quickly and reduce the discomfort of the client fast, and then I can get them to support. I can support it and get it to last.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's so many different things that you can explore to help an adjustment hold. That's, even from my point of view to someone like yourself too.
Mm-hmm.
This has been just a wonderful, collaboration that you and I have had together. I'd really like to spend the last minute or so just letting people know what's the best ways to know more about your work, what's the best ways to get in touch with you. Is there certain things that we can explore?
The best ways to learn more about the work, I guess, would be do a little research and look up structural integration, um, read about like Ida Rolf's theories with the body. Or you can call me on the phone or text me. Um, Look at my website. I have a good uh, description of the work, and I'm always free to talk about it
Okay.
and to see if it's good for you.
What's your website again?
It's evokechange.org.
EVOKE change.
Yeah, change.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll include your information in the show notes, but again, it's wonderful to be able to connect with you on this level here. Um,
Yeah, same.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But we've been doing these interviews and we'll keep up with it and give you guys a chance to know more about the healers in Bellingham as well as learn a little bit of some different things that you can do for your health and for your life. So thank you for being with us today, John.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everyone. If you like what you saw, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, feel free to share, and subscribe to our YouTube station. If you have any questions or suggestions, we appreciate it. Just email us at info@colorchiropractic.com. And if you want to know more about our practice, go to colorchiropractic.com. We are Color Chiropractic, where healing is achieved through personalized care and collaboration.